This conference will now be recorded.
Oh, down there? I don't think you have the lock.
I know.
Yeah, so I don't know what that guy was doing. He said he was gonna fix it up, because I called him and see if he wants to sell it.
Yeah.
And he says he's gonna put some work into it, so I don't know.
I know what was there before he
Oh,
put it, thing all the way around.
well, he didn't do
No,
that.
I know he didn't.
Oh, okay. So what was there before?
A double wide consort,
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
almost condemned.
No
And
kidding.
then he put that beautiful thing all the way around.
But then,
Why did he do that?
yeah, I think it was a couple of owners ago.
Yeah.
Which one, which
On
line?
Armitage Street behind Gorman's, that little stucco.
Yeah,
Because I'm working with the guy, John Mellum is his name, and he bought all of that behind Gorman. I don't know when, but then he sold off the house just like 2 years ago.
mhm.
But I think it was the guy previous to him that did that stucco.
Yeah, it's been there,
A long
I
time.
think it's been there since at least since I got here in 2011, I think.
No, it's been there
It's been
since
all of that.
2006.
Okay.
And all of that.
And I think he bought it in like 2008.
I mean, I don't know if you've been in it, but it's not even close to finished, 'cause we've had open doors there and kids messing around in there, so I've been in there a couple of times. And
Yeah, and
it's not finished or anything. I
yeah,
mean,
the current owner has only owned it for 2 years.
can he have that there with the floodplain and everything? Is that?
Yeah, so I think, I don't know, that was before.
No, I know, I mean, it's right on
So
the creek.
selling
right
the
there.
lot, so on selling the lot, they have to get an elevation, or not an elevation survey, excuse me, a floodplain delineation survey.
Yeah, that thing that shows how high you have to raise your house. to
Yeah,
be on the
exactly,
floodplain.
but it's actually in, since the culvert project out, it's substantially smaller.
Yes, it is.
So, but that's still only a approximation. So, how's Mr. Borman doing? Is he getting any?
He's working on it. He's got cancer right now, so he's only got one vehicle that meets jump vehicle requirement there right now. Everything else is tagged, plated, and good to go. So it's just that one up on blocks, and he's trying to get his son to come down, because I guess he's got a buyer for it in somewhere in southern Idaho that they have to get it down to. So that's the last one. So he's gotten everything else taken, tags or everything else taken care of off of that lot.
All right. John, when's the last time you were in Idaho?
Wow.
It's been a while? You've been doing any?
Arizona.
They're waiting for trailers to be made. They're behind.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, really behind.
Oh, wow.
It was nice. It was nice.
Not more than.
It was in the upper 90s a couple of times.
Never
One day. We have to pay some.
See, I love when you get those cool mornings and then you get the nice warm days and then the cold nights again. Great sleeping weather.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt good.
How's it going?
Steve was coming off the river.
Where were you at?
Oh, I was just walking the other morning, just walking downtown, or walking by the river there. It's so cold that. Is that Saturday or Sunday morning? Maybe?
What the hell is over here?
Patrick. I guess this is more of a question. We have to relook at the whole thing. You were saying there was a public issue last time. Hey, Blake.
Listen,
This one on First Street, do we have to redo the whole thing? Or do the ones that we granted, the one that we granted,
We're just gonna start over.
or just? Okay.
What's the current side yard setback, 5 feet?
Depends on which area you're in.
For him.
For him, 5, yeah.
Oh, that thing's gonna have to get shut up. Oh. You bring it from wheelways? This? We're gonna need somebody to kind of fix it.
So Jason, on yours, is it 30 feet on one side and then 25 feet on the other because of the hill? Or is it just straight 30 feet?
It's 30 feet from the foundation.
Okay,
So on the drawing where it shows the first page where it shows the opening,
okay, I just didn't know if it was,
it's 30 feet, and so that right there is the grade. Now, if you look on the next page, oh, 2 more pages. Say this. South elevation,
okay,
right at that same line is the grade.
okay.
And then on the
Is
west,
it,
on the west elevation.
I just didn't know if it was built into the hill.
It's built into the hill. And I dug out 6 feet, but back to 2.5. In that back corner, so.
Yeah.
Look at the first page. Again. It shows that line,
Yeah,
that's handwritten in there.
hey, how are ya?
It's an the east elevation page,
Yeah,
that handwritten line in there.
Yeah.
That's where the original grade was that I dug out. And then I pushed it way into the hill. Slope.
okay, that's what I got when I.
Who did the measurements on the 30 feet?
I did.
Not good enough.
There,
I want measurements from Art. He said he puts his name down on it. It's his ass.
you
If
already
it's over
did.
30 feet, you're gonna be taking the top off.
Well,
You will.
it's not up to you.
Yes, it is.
Not
You'll be
just you.
surprised. You will be taking it off. If it's over 30 feet, I don't care if it's 30 feet, 1 inch, you'll take that inch off. And we did it to other people in town, and you're no exception. Like I said, I want Art's signature on it that it's 30 feet. If it is, that's fine.
He signed off here on a site visit. On the first page, Art signed off on a site visit there. On the bottom,
On the first page.
yeah, on the bottom where it says notes and comments, it's that handwritten. Yeah. He said that he did a site visit and then he signed it 6/3. And then he signed it 7/6.
And it says 1-year extension, okay, for plans for 17/21. Well, the new plans are right there. Did you see those? These are the plans.
So didn't you have an original permit just for a garage?
Yeah, that's what the first set of plans.
Your neighbor.
And
And
then-
then how much longer after that, did you start on the second floor on without getting permission?
I'm only-
Did you read the first page?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
It says 1-year extension, okay, per plans, 4/17/21. Those are the new plans. These are the plans that were turned in. That was okay.
What? The original thing was signed at 3/30/17 or 19, approved March 4/17, that there was for, and it says here, our still $50.
Good evening.
Now we'll see. Hey,
Good, are you?
all right.
Oh, not according to this clock out here. Oh, okay. Yep, I saw that. Yep, you did see that in your, in your report.
Thank you. Yeah, we should change the clock to that. I mean, that's like the last meeting. I was looking at this one and then I looked at that
Oh,
one.
sorry.
No,
I apologize.
that's fine, that's fine. So I mean, I gave us a 2-minute break when we took our recess class meeting. You're so bad.
Oh, sorry. I'm old school, and look at that now.
Ready?
All right.
I'm back here.
Okay, now it's 6 o'clock. Go ahead and call this bad boy to order. Let's start with the Scott Kelly.
That's, it's the handwritten one. This first one, it has a handwritten note on the front.
Is that, oh, that is that,
It's-
the bond?
Yeah, so we're looking to put, is there's a picture on it?
You already got it up.
What's there was already there.
He wants to put it next to the brewery. The
Yeah,
reality is he's got the building already up. Huh?
There's a little like already there right now. That was already existing.
yeah. But I think this is the only reason we're looking at it, because it's in the traditional neighborhood development. So there's no variance or anything needed. It's just because it's in that overlay district, that anything that happens down there has to come before the town council. So I think,
We got it on our road. There's a building.
so there is, so we have the core commercial district. And then it's called an overlay district. It's called the traditional neighborhood development in our current code. And it's another layer of,
Some commercial.
it's so, we could have more control. In 1996, it's, so you can have more control of what happens downtown. So that's why town pumps have become
Yeah.
here and stuff like that. So, yes, so as Art says, there's no variances. It's just a Main Street
It's
project.
similar to it. It could be smaller than there's a building.
Yeah, we have to vote on it. So, does everyone understand what's going on? I think, are they taking down what's already there?
I think what's already there is considered the garden,
Oh, and then they're adding one back.
where the other picnic tables are.
Okay, and where the old, they tore out that scoop shack and everything. Okay.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, now discussion.
So,
So is it in addition to this? Is that what we're talking about, or is it?
It's like that.
It's, yeah, that's what it's supposed to look.
that's
That's what he's buying to put.
Oh, gotcha. But John said there was a building there already?
Well, if you go to the back page, where it says garden, there's a covering right there with a garden.
yeah, there's like a little pergola. Yeah.
Kind of,
Okay,
it's
okay.
cutesy little, it's already existing though.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the scoop jack where they have ice cream plates.
And they tore all that out. back
That's
in
where
the
this is
spring.
going.
Does that make sense, John?
Yeah, but I think garden was existing, or they've done some work to it this summer, but I don't think that shed.
No, that little pergola
Yeah.
was, yeah, in front.
This one's the bigger one. Okay. Does anyone else have any other discussion on this? Okay, call the vote. Let's start with John. Okay, aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes for the Bailey. Okay.
Are they trying to do that right now before weather, probably?
Yeah.
I think so, for additional outdoor seating, they got, that SBA letter or something like that, or something.
beginning,
Yeah, well, I think there
Let's go ahead and move on to Jason Schroeder. Jason, you want to go ahead and just give us a little?
So, if you read the first page, it says, I first, 2 years ago, was gonna build a garage, and I just did the foundation and did the excavation to remove back into the hill, where my house is on a hill. And then after a year went by, I decided to change it, so that's why there's two different sets of plans. There's the first set, which is just the picture of the garage, and then the aerial view on the first 2 pages of the plan.
So those are really old.
Those are the first ones. And then I applied for a new permit where it was gonna be attached and changing the layout. And that's when I submitted these plans. And that's the last 5 pages. And then if you look on the permit, it says house 1 year extension, okay, per plans on 4/17/21. And then about a week later is when I started building the second story.
Only question, we should call that one into, I will just do it this way. Only question I had was the height of it.
So that's where the kind of question came into play, and if you look at the,
Is this the right one?
He's so.
that's the one with the height, yeah.
That's the one with 630.
So if you look, that from that line to the top is 30. But on my application, I'm asking to use the proposed zoning regulations for the height and the measurement. So how you measure it and where you measure it from on the new zoning makes it clear when you're building on a hill, how to do it. And what it says is you go from the average grade to the average height of the steep pitch roof. But if you measure it that way, it becomes way shorter. Technically. But yeah, it's 30 feet from this grade on the east elevation to the peak. And that, the grade goes around the east elevation and the south elevation. And then it was removed. And 6 feet was removed on those two elevations, and then brought back. And then it was sloped in to where it's like 2 feet or 2 foot 8 inches to the foundation wall. The foundation wall is 2 foot 8 inches.
Like I said, I don't have any, thing against you as far as you building it, looks nice and all that. However, I want a parking measure, and I want, not you, I want a parking measure, he's the man in charge. I think the one we have to go with.
And I get the idea.
And he knows everything about it, and he knows that it's already been, the permit was already approved per these plans.
I think he did because he went to the line to go through.
For the second one.
That's what I said here about you. He would have set up the meeting if there hadn't been that.
Plans, and so this was 6/21, actually a year later.
And they could very well be. I wish he was here to help out, but he's not.
Well, he's not.
And Corey did talk to him.
We had this other one down the street here that made it 30 feet. There's nothing wrong with your 30 feet. You're entitled to it. Once they get it out, that's gospel. It's good for anybody in town who wants to go 30 feet high.
You want me to make a motion?
Yeah, let's go ahead and make a motion. Then check it out.
Okay. Just so you don't get too deep. So, I move to approve the, variance, or how are we saying it? The variance for, the Schroeder property at, is it
7/21.
I'm sorry, yeah, 721 South First Street.
Maybe a second.
Thank you.
And now John
What
carries.
was the second?
Support. John? No. There you go. With what you're saying.
Oh, like I said, I don't have nothing against what you're doing. But I want to talk to Art first. I want to make sure he did what he did. And I don't want to see anything go over 30 feet because, like I said before, the people down the street, they stuck that one in and everybody had an opportunity to raise it 5 feet more. We got and it's close by you where the guy he was 3 feet above the 25. And we made him take it down and put all new rafters in to come down to the 25 at that time. I have nothing against what you're doing. I just want to make sure that Bart says 30 is 30 and not 30, 31.
And we did talk, if you look over here, it says 7/6/20, talked with Jason, and he confirmed that I was able to continue building. And also you understand that I do have a unique situation where most places in Ennis don't have a hill to build on, and mine is a hill. So,
And I think it speaks to our like, discrepancies in our current code on like where to take measurements from and stuff like that. And that it is moving toward, just like, before, it's moving towards our proposed zoning. If anyone wants to call Alice Vogel and see if they can get him on the phone to see when he can review our stuff. So I think it's well within, our proposed zoning. And I think that, yeah, the new zoning covers as to where it would be measured from, so you're not worried about the 30 feet, 1 inch or whatever. Because our current code, you don't know, it just says 30 feet. Well, does that mean from the very bottom? Does that mean from the, very top where it's
30 feet from the ground up.
Yeah, but the ground is at a different level being in the hill. And so that's where it's complicated with our current code. There's a fair amount of discrepancy there. And so I think that's what the issue is.
And that's exactly why people need to apply for variances, because there's unique situations.
You don't need a variance to go 30 feet. You need a variance to go over 30 feet, which I would never grant. To anybody at any time. It's just 30 feet high enough in town. And anybody in town has a right to go 30 feet because they did it down here. If you do it for one, you do it for all. That's my argument.
Right, it's actually, the current code is not 30 feet.
But you can get a variance for the 30 feet without any problem. Nobody will give you any crap whatsoever because they can't deny it to you. It's been down here, proved, and it's gospel.
Okay, what you're saying. Any other discussion?
I just wanted to make sure everybody saw the last 3 pages, which is the actual application and the letter.
Okay, oh,
Yeah, that's the same stuff. I just wanted to make sure.
and then as we go into our vote, you abstain. Okay, Paul.
Wait, can I ask a question? Did you talk to Art about this?
I have not talked to him. I just tried to call him, and he's in the middle of nowhere, I'm sure.
Corey didn't talk to her.
I talked to him, what was the, Ginger, he had mentioned something he wanted you to say in the meeting? Regarding, maybe just regarding the confusion, he's like, I asked Ginger to,
Yes, copyright.
And yeah, it says here just that there was a confusion of plans and if you're, Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, where your plans like left, you didn't get to them, they were set in the lobby.
Right, I left him with Ginger.
No, that's why.
They will put it in our office.
Okay.
When I receive anything, it goes to his office.
Sure.
That was just, all that was as to why it wasn't done earlier. We had planned on doing it earlier, but it hadn't been published.
Oh, right, yeah.
That was, what happened. Unless was there something else, Corey?
No, that was Patrick's, it wasn't published.
We didn't have time to get it published in time, is why we pushed it.
Correct. Correct.
Is there any way we can postpone this until we physically talk to Art?
That's up to you guys. I've been pushing it back, because it's, we can get it out back.
I think we had it on, we had gotten the agenda. And we had the opportunity to talk to Art if you had wanted to have it described. And he does have notes here in the application. His handwritten notes. And I think it also goes that when you're talking about, is it, where you measure or whatever, that's something else that we will need to address in our proposed zoning is a completion form to make sure it's completed as it was described. That's a certification of completion. That's something that we don't currently have.
When we're gonna get that, 2030?
I don't know, you can, yeah, I would like to get it.
Okay, let's stay on point here.
Okay.
Is your big push the 30 feet? Is that 30 feet where your issue is?
Yes.
can you rescind your motion and then redo a new motion to include not going over 30? And then we
That's
can,
not the case, I think it does go over 30 in some places, so I don't know if you should say that. You know,
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I don't know if you should say that, because
You
that's,
have to use the proposed zoning in measuring. So you can go from the average grade because it's on a hill, that's the whole point.
So is it using the average rate, is that what you would say? Okay. So Ginger, I rescind my motion, or can I do that? Is that what you want me to do? Or do we vote no on that motion? Do it.
I think that would be the cleaner
What
way.
you would do is you would, somebody would, move to, change the motion,
Oh. Or then,
amend the motion.
or is it gonna?
And then you would have to approve the,
It's on the floor right now, so you have to vote on it. It's been moved and seconded, so you have to vote on it.
yeah.
So let's,
vote.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait, or can I amend the motion? I can then get a second to the amendment.
I think it would be cleaner if you vote it and then make a new motion.
okay, so Corey will call to vote. Do we have to vote this through, then we can vote a motion?
No.
So,
So I move to approve the application by Jason Schroeder for the 721 South First Street for a variance for 30 feet height based on the measurement of average grade elevation measurement. That's correct.
That's how good, Ginger.
I'm still writing this down.
Before I call for a second, I want to make sure we got it right. We don't have to do this again.
Okay, motion to approve the application at 721 South First Street by Jason Schroeder for a variance of 30 feet height
To be measured.
to be measured on the average grade.
So, that's the correct terminology. That sounds good. Okay, with that, a second? No second. Okay. Now discussion again.
Do you feel better about that?
I do.
Because that at least makes sense why if anybody goes and.
I can understand, you know, but if you look at it, this looks really, many people have called me and said, you know, don't you people ever go out and measure? That's not our job, that's our job.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make sure that ours is comfortable with this 30 feet thing. Period, nothing more.
With trusses and the floor in between and everything. 30 on the plans and not 30.
Well, if it went over 30,
On the grade.
then, you know, well, it looks really tall, so.
I don't think it was measured, to be honest. I don't remember him saying that in our conversation.
Okay, Jason, call the vote, or Jason, Corey, sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Dan,
Okay, look at the package on, we're gonna look at this one as we're just starting fresh all over. As we're going into this one, You want to go ahead and, oh, let's see here. There's a variance request, 5-foot side yard on east side of Wapro. To 0 side yard, 25 front yard, vary to 20-foot front yard.
We should look at the picture overall.
Yeah, so this house already has an existing garage, subgrade with a roof on it that is already at 0 foot setback. And he just wants to build on top of it. So that if we were to not approve it, it wouldn't change anything if he was to build on that, it's the same thing, so.
I think like he was talking about, filling in where the garage door is.
Yeah.
And then he was going, that roofing end would be like a deck. That's my understanding.
No, I think I'm wrong. He wants to build a single story to match the roof line, right?
It says
To build on.
proposed living space right on the plan.
This is the first sentence of this request, I intend to build a single-story living space. So a single-story living space is enclosed, conditioned, has walls, windows, and a roof.
Correct.
Yeah, on top of the garage, the former garage.
Yeah.
But it won't be a garage anymore.
It's
It's gonna be built
But
in.
now-
Right? This, I mean, the width won't be down there.
The current garage door opening will be filled
Yes.
with foundation concrete to complete the south face wall. The driveway area will be backfilled and a concrete driveway poured outslope from the building to the south property.
So just basically like here across that.
And the concrete's already like that. Whatever they built that roof on top, but it's like concrete on top of concrete. Yeah, the concrete's already there for like patched up as a basement.
So they probably had something like that. in mind.
They probably put a flat roof on it, decided that doesn't work, it's not.
Awesome.
It looks like. I move to approve the variance on 104 East Ennis Street.
Second.
Okay, now let's have any discussion that anyone has. I think the big issue before was just the 0 setback and having, putting it on there. I don't know that.
Yeah, because in my opinion, the 0 setback, if he does nothing, it's still 0 setback. If he builds something, it's still 0 setback. So there's nothing we can do about the 0 setback anyway. So we might as well let him do something with it.
And I did talk to the neighbor to the east, and he was good with it.
And there was another neighbor that sent a letter in that wanted us to approve it as well. And he also has another hardship where there's a sewer easement through the land. And yes, you could pay for that to be moved, that's a 10-inch sewer, so that would be very expensive to have that moved. So we can't really build somewhere else.
It's not 10-inch, but that really doesn't matter.
Oh, it just says that on the,
No, it's 4-inch, but it doesn't really matter for what you're
oh,
discussing.
10-foot wide easement, gotcha. Yeah, same.
So, yeah,
10 feet for 4 inches.
Let's go ahead and call it a vote. Ms. Miles, is there any other discussion? Lisa?
Aye.
Aye.
Alright.
Aye.
Alright.
Sorry, that one took a little bit longer than what we, moved.
I accept your apology. I'd like to leave. Is that okay if I go?
Yes, that's your vote.
Run while you can.
Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine.
Okay, fun stuff.
Can we just start? Sure. You have to be the bouncer.
Are you packing, Karen? No. Kelly?
Did you want a fresh copy or have you got yours?
I'm good.
You're good, okay. I made one, just in case.
Oh,
It's okay, want to
There's not,
bring up over here? Oh, we're not. Okay, thank you.
Okay, what's gonna be, I wanna make this the easiest possible way for you guys to understand what is it that you guys are needing or have questions on. I'll start with that. Or, I'll start with
Or
David.
then we can go line by line or whatever if you want me to. My only question was, on the revenue side, well, it's on the expenditure and on the revenue side, page 3 of 23. What? Well, we're on revenue, so 3 of 23 for revenue, and then I believe on,
5 of 20, 30 for expenditure.
yeah, with Western Transportation, it wasn't a grant, it's more of a partnership, we're not receiving any money from them. So it was basically, it was a cost sharing, does that make sense? So we just said, we'll spend this money, and they said they would spend double that amount.
okay, so we only need the 7,000.
Yes. Yep,
There won't be any revenue.
there won't be any revenue, because they'll take care of that on their end.
This one's 5. That's expenditure.
So all we need is 7,000 in expenditures.
Yes.
Just this.
And which line item do you want? If you want it broke out.
I don't think it matters, it's probably just the 243 traffic signal supply.
Okay. However, on the revenue side, we're gonna have to show the 7,000 from the town.
Okay,
And that,
okay,
and it's gonna be transferred, well, I'll have to change the coding on it as well,
okay.
but that's not a problem. Okay, got it.
Okay, were there any other questions that you have in between, or will we just hit them as we go?
I just wanted to make sure, so there was on the expenditures for the city court prosecutor, 410360, it's right on the first page.
Which one was that?
City court prosecutor. I'm just wondering if that's where the money is for the city attorney, or is it the other one that says,
It's the other one.
okay,
And
legal services?
yeah, we can talk to Blake about that. Not like
So we got
page 2,
411100.
correct.
Yeah, so we've got 25,000 in there for the city attorney.
No, sir. You have to go out further.
It's like 5,000.
If you see behind it, it says minus 20,000,
Oh, budget changes.
and then final budget.
Gotcha. So what happened there?
We had originally 25. What can I say? What am I, I'm gonna be careful with this one. I don't know what I can actually say. That was actually set up for the alley defense. I just don't, I know what I want to say, I just don't want to say too much.
As long as you're not giving any legal, anything, any other legal strategy, you can discuss it as a budget item.
It was set aside.
We had 25 set up for that. We don't think we're gonna need that much to finish off this particular issue.
So that's just for finishing up the
Correct.
So then, I'm just wanting to see where the money is for the city attorney.
Oh,
No. Like that is what you cut. Because the other one is the court, is Greenbaum.
that's the one that he's talking about. He wants to see the green one.
Yeah, seen it on their page. He wants a separate city attorney.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. I'll be honest with you, I had to cut and slash. Okay, let's go to this front page right here. This is gonna help explain a lot of this.
Blake, which one is that so I can pull it up?
This one here.
Okay.
Okay, when I came in, Ginger called me in line 100. The very important one is section 2 there, the 31,497. That's all the money we have left over to spend. So anything that happens, that's where that would come from. That's any projects, that's anything that comes up throughout the year. We put money in there, we have zero money in our reserves, and we have to have money in our reserves, or in case something happens, we don't have money for $30,000 to draw from. And all we have left to spend for the entire year is $31,000.
And I just need to cut it from other spots so we can find it.
Yeah, if you can, I cut and slash a lot for quite a bit, and we'll see where I just cut as we're going through together. That one, that is a very important number. I think
But I understand that, but we did talk about getting the city attorney, and we all agreed that it was good idea.
but you have to have the money to do it. You got $3 that you want to spend, you only have one, you can't spend 3.
Correct, but
We don't have 3.
we haven't finished the budget, so we can figure out some other spots to change. So that this doesn't stays, or maybe even gets bigger.
That would be nice, but we're pretty tight, but we will go through it and look at it as we're going, and that is why we're here, so. But I just wanted you guys to understand where that number comes from. A lot of the times, we're looking at this, and we don't have that reserve, I think we're actually under what we should be in percentage wise.
But then you don't have revenues that you're gonna be getting too, so.
And they're
It's
all,
not all just something.
The revenues are figured into this sheet as well.
They're,
When I got Lake we were in the red.
a lot more. So we're spending too much in other spots.
maybe you could say that, but I don't, as I was looking at it, we can ask questions, definitely ask questions. We'll go through the expenditure side to start with.
Let's say, so I talked to Ginger, the other day, and as far as the cash reserve is concerned, you were talking like numbers like 150. range.
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, that budgeted cash reserve is 100,000 or more short. Now, take into consideration, we are just coming off of a couple of years of some pretty large expenditures in legal. It's gonna probably take us a little time to recover from that. Yeah, I mean, the reserves are sad.
And there is no required number, but a recommended number is 40% of the budget, and we're fully sure of that. But like I said, there is no required number in the reserves. But you want them there for an emergency,
Yes.
like the roof budget. Season it is.
We should be sitting under really good. Okay, let's go ahead and start in general and go into, we'll go here line by line, you can see 42,410 for salaries and wages. Compensated 5654, employer contribution 3817, office supplies 1500. Publication 550. I hit something that someone wants to talk about, call Brad. Second line. Postage 550, publication 600, membership and registration 1500, telephone and telegraph 900, accounting and auditing 3370, Travel 15, I just took 500 away from that. Other purchase services 4203, commission projects 600. I cut 4,000 of that and put that into our reserve. So as projects come up, the reserves are there so we can put it out to whatever we want to. We have such a big shortfall, the money is there. If we find more, we can put more into the reserve, but rather than necessarily earmark money for those, I decided to put it into the general, and we can make a budget amendment as we go into it, if we run into something that you guys want to do. It was easier to put it into that rather than go the other way. Insurance, 2227, and then the total is 68,831, and I pulled 4,500 out of that. Any questions, comments, concerns on that one? Okay, we'll go ahead and move to city court, 21,600 and 200 for travel, or 21,800. Okay, city court, 35,648, 1344 for compensated, 3209 for employer contributions, 1,000 for supplies, 1,500 for office supplies, 220 for postage, membership 1,200, telephone 345, or sorry, 900. I was looking at the legal services 0, travel. He had budgeted 25. I cut him down to 1,500, bring him to 1,000 because a lot of his things are going to now be online. So there was no point in having the extra money in there for those. And it's closer to the average of what he was doing. Other materials, 1,500, insurance, 1984. So I pulled 1,500 out of that to make 49,705. Any questions with that? Okay. Okay, jury services, 394, 600, and 750 for other contractors. What did we put at 750 on that one?
That's a big one.
Oh, Bailey, okay, Bailey. Oh. Any other questions with that, or any questions? Okay, financial services, salaries, 25,162, comp, 5,891, employer contribution, 3,046, office supplies, 1,500, postage, 200. Okay. Membership, 700, telephone, 500, accounting, 3,200, 3,210, sorry. Travel, 1,000, other purchase services, 3,000, insurance, 779, for a total of 44,980.
Why did the accounting and auditing go down so much?
Is that because they're gonna be doing it virtually?
That's part of it.
Virtual accounting. They'll do that instead of coming to us, they're gonna do it in their office.
Good.
Okay. Payroll services, 5,946, comp 1,615, employer contributions 548, office supply 800, accounting 1,500, other purchase services 669, insurance 241, for a total of 11,319. Anyone else this fall? Okay, planning and research, we got 0 on that one. Legal services, 500 and 5,000. I explained the 20 there. Okay, facilities, 26,519. You'll notice this is a big, as we're looking at this on these ones, and then Public Works, the raise in wages, they'll look at the 142, that's a 42% increase that we did, we raised the wages on that. So we're gonna hit, these numbers are gonna go up a good chunk because we put increased wages on these people. And this is where it was gonna hit, from the breakdown out, but just so you know why the numbers are so much different from 1920. So we're at 26,519, 1351, 3715, repairs are 6,000. Electric, 65, gas utility, 5,000, repair, maintenance, 500, other purchase, 500, insurance, 2,026, for a total of 5211. IT services, 8,000, comp, 882, employer contribution, 736. The telephone telegraph, 1,500, data processing, 2,000. Insurance, 241, and machinery, 2,500. John, what was the 1,500 for?
The telephone and telegraph, that's to increase the network services so that we can run the Wi-Fi, the free Wi-Fi hotspots at a higher data rate so people can actually watch a YouTube video on it. Because right now we don't have the bandwidth because we share it with our town internet connection right now.
And then 2,000?
2,000 is to provide all the recordings a backup for, because if we're recording all the meetings, we are custodians of records. We have to keep those copies. An online service is not considered a backup service. So we are responsible for those records. So that is to put a network attached storage in, which has what's called a RAID function, which means there's 4 hard drives in it. 2 hard drives run, 2 hard drives are the backup for that. So they run 2 hard drives and it automatically backs all the data from the 2 hard drives over to the other 2 hard drives. So even if a hard drive fails, we still have that data backed up.
And those were your 2 big increases in that?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions with that? Okay. Law enforcement, 72,155 for wages, $10,010 for comp, 9276 for contribution, 500 for supplies, 65 for operating, 45 for gas, oil, diesel stuff, telephone, 2,600. Repairs, maintenance, 14, vehicle repairs, 65, travel, 300, other purchase services, 5,000, contract, 4,200, insurance, 34, for a total of 126, 430.
And then other purchase services. We put away for.
No, that's not the patrol car, John, that's separate. Other purchase services are where I have to contract to have the state required law enforcement antivirus. I have to use their network for certain things. That's the purchase services to use the state network, and because they charge us in some instances by transaction. So that's why that has to be there.
Okay, no problem. Okay, any other questions for John? Okay. Land use, 20,500, comp 953, employer 2870, office supply 200. Telephone 482, professional 3,000, other purchase 1,500, insurance 723 for 3228. Any questions there? Okay. Road and street, 40,602, comp 1,900, employer contribution 5686, repair 35,148, gas, oil, diesel 27, 0 on other repair, 8,500 on electric utility, 0 on professional, 2,000 on other purposes, insurance 2,072, Machinery, 6,000, for a total of 104,698. Any questions there? Okay. Solid waste, of the purchase, $118. Say that again.
It's that fee from the county.
Thank you. Okay, weed control. 150 for gas, oil, diesel, 65 for postage, 170 for membership and registration, 200 for ground maintenance, 70 for travel, or 655. The animal control, 600, 1,200 for 18. Did you have a new, uptick in that, John?
No, actually I decreased it. We have to keep the 1,200 in there because that covers quarantining at least 2 dogs. It's about 600 for a 10-day quarantine for the dogs. If we have a dog bite where somebody gets bit, we are required, if we can't find the owner, we are required to pay for that.
Parks, 44,850, comp 1327, quarter contribution 6279, small items 300, repair and maintenance 2,000, gas oil diesel 300, electric utility 800, consult 0, repair and maintenance 2,000. Other purchase 1,000, insurance 1,043, for a total of 59,899. Okay, rest area facilities, 110 salaries and wages, contribution 602, repair maintenance 2,400, electric utility service 1,758, insurance 417, for a total of 9,087. And
Most of that is, most of that will be recovered through the rest area grant that we get from the state.
That's like $9,000.
Yeah, the grant is for 9,000, and I mean, oftentimes we don't spend that much, but it's apples to apples on that one. We get back what we spent.
Okay. Interfund operating, transfer out, transfers to other funds, 7,000. We took 3, what is that for? I'm sorry. Forgot what the heck that was.
The 7,000 is going to, for the WTI.
Oh, thank you. Forgot to make something else. I just saw the negative, I'm like. Transfer to capital improvement. We kept the 5,000 for the police car and took the 5,000 of it out for building improvement for this year.
We're getting another police car?
We,
Eventually.
yeah, you roughly build money, build 5,000 each year to, so when they come to time for the life of it, whether it's 5 years.
It's
roughly.
5 to 6 years. I treat the cars well, so I try to keep them about 6 years. That's what I did with the last ones.
Gas tax 1,370, so for a total of 13,370 with the 8,000 taken out.
I guess my question is down at the bottom, we're actually, so we're only at 81% of our budget.
What page are we on, sorry?
So like just at the bottom of page 4, just looking at the general
97%.
We're at 97.
percent of old, yes, of old budget, but, okay.
No,
For that's for 20 and 21, I guess maybe this is where I just need to, our current budget for 1920, we spent 512, is that correct? 512,
So our,
That's actual, Lisa.
yeah, so that's our actual, but we budgeted 636.
Right.
our budget is 617, but all the way.
Yeah,
She's looking at this year's.
so I'm just looking at the general, how we,
there's 100,000 we didn't use.
So
Yeah, so I was looking for an overall picture of this year.
So when I go in and do figures for budgets, you've got to budget for what you anticipate using.
Yeah,
Oftentimes, that doesn't occur.
okay.
I mean, the employees here try to be very frugal and not misspend, overspend. I mean, John is fantastic at finding us deals. We save money.
I try.
So you have to budget max of what you're gonna anticipate. We try to spend less.
Okay, no, I get that, so I guess last year, we must have had a balanced budget with revenues that we anticipated coming in. Right,
Pretty close.
okay. And maybe that's on the road. To look at, so I'm just wondering, also, library, maybe on the general fund,
101%, Lisa.
okay, got
So if you look at the very bottom line for the general fund, it's, the final budget is 600,000, or 617,748. But then if we go to the revenue for our general fund, we're only planning on taking in $512,585. That's a difference of $105,000. So our budget is over our anticipated revenues.
Yes, and that's where you're using your cash available, like it's column 4 on the long sheet.
Well, I understand that's how you get it balanced, but it shouldn't be
Exactly.
$100,000 more. So we need to start going through this and taking stuff off, like it's close to that $500,000. It's about, so I don't know. Anybody that's having want to spend $105,000 more than that, I mean, that's almost 20%. You guys hear what I'm saying?
yeah, I do get what you're saying, but I guess I'm looking at anticipated,
An
what,
average increase would be, just under 10%.
yeah. But I think also we need to look at what we anticipated, what we actually spent was $512,000, and then what we actually brought in was $528,000. If you look for this year.
For 1920,
Yes. So we spent 512,000.
by 1923, with the current budget, we actually spent we got in more than we thought we were. What are we trying to say?
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying overall, we took in more than we spent for last year. So we spent, I'm sorry, like.
What do we choose your? Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so we actually spent, correct me if I'm wrong, 528,451, what we actually spent. Or actually took in, I'll call it 528, and we spent 512.
Yeah, that makes sense. But if we purposely budget way higher, this keeps happening and it keeps compounding every year. Because you wanna increase your budget every year, but if you already start out under a difference, then eventually we're gonna have to.
Yeah. And I think looking back at the record, yeah. And there were definitely, just going back to some years, we did take in more, like in 16, 17, we were under budget. 17, 18, we were over general fund, and then 18, 19, we were under. And then last year, we were under. So out of that 4 years, we were over one. So I think we either need to.
I'm just letting you guys get where you're going, I'm just listening.
No, just looking at the overall.
But on this one, you guys talk, so, what is your proposed cuts, if you think you want to cut? This is why when we were talking, and I want to bring this up, and I'm going to say this, when we raised the wages in,
Yeah, some of this we can't do anything about.
but this is why you have to be very careful. I mean, when this was coming,
It comes out of those areas.
but it's in the general fund, this is where you raised in facilities and administration, 142% increase. When you go into, when you do a 55% increase. Road street maintenance, 54%, that was all the salaries that we raised. When we raise and add money to these things without thinking about what's coming, this is where we end
But
up.
I thought the money was in water and sewer and different places they get that money from.
We raised it 42%.
Sorry, I said, I got that number, but it's still a 42%.
Yes,
increase. So that's where the big difference from the, or where our budget number went up along because of those increases in wages.
Can we
It might
get
be.
more revenues from, to cover that? We now have more expenses in water and sewer and all this and that. Can we just say we need to get more money from water and sewer?
That was something.
Can I,
Not your problem.
no, can I speak for a
That's
second?
what he's just saying, so.
But it is, that's where our big increase, our percentage.
So a long time ago, and a few of you were on the council, Ginger and I both proposed redoing the dog licensing and redoing the business licensing to bring in more income. That got swept under the rug and never went anywhere because we do need to address it. But again, yes, we can look at other ways to bring in revenue, and that is one way to bring in more revenue. However, it got pushed aside. So we could have had that revenue. How long ago did we do that?
2 to 3 years.
So we could have had some more revenue on that side for 2 to 3 years.
What about raising rates for water and sewer?
That's,
So those
That's
are enterprise funds.
And so,
It's- Go ahead. So they're actually like two different businesses. Water is a complete different business than the general fund. Sewer is a complete different business than the
But
general.
you're gonna get paid out of water and sewer.
but it's a certain percentage, so.
That it doesn't matter for the general.
Because when we increase their wages, so they get paid, and I'm sure that the percentage of each one, so it's, out of, say, a public works employee, 25% comes out of the general fund, 75, 50% comes out of water, 25% comes out of sewer. When we raise their wage, we can't say, oh, well, we want all of the wage increase to come out of water. And those percentages, it still, it has to increase out of the general fund as well.
Their wages is based on average out of finance.
Yeah.
In general fund, you're looking at facilities.
We can't change our percentage.
Facilities part,
And
you want to be careful
the
doing.
percentages could be changed, but the fact is water and sewer absorbs more than their share.
Already on, okay.
And it has to be fair.
It's gotta be equitable, or we will have.
So maybe one of our.
Are you still talking with the people from water to try to get the water people there to raise the price of water too, right? Water.
To do a rate structuring, yeah. And I thought we should get through this process first before you got enough on the table. So, but yeah, they're more than willing to come down. But that won't help the general budget. That will only help water and sewer.
The thing that will work from sewer, and we're not doing it, we should be doing it. We should be online with the state's rates, and we're far below. And if anything happens tragically, we will not get grants because we're not on par with the state. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna raise the rates to come in with the state, and the people are gonna live it because it's gonna be really high. I was hoping we do it every year, maybe 2-3%. But now you're gonna nail a 40% thing, and then it's gonna be high rate, and rightfully so, we're not doing the job.
So there goes back saying, why can't we raise the rates? I mean, obviously our budget is way out of whack, so we're gonna do something. We gotta get it somewhere.
Yeah, well, it's water and sewer budget is, good, I think. Our other dog licenses due down January 1st, that's still.
Are all business licenses due in June or just mine? No, all of them. They is that too this year.
Yeah, so we could get it done for the next.
But raising water and sewer rates is not gonna help.
Yeah. General
Water.
fund that we can increase our.
Any ideas on that? General fund, what?
Yeah, it failed miserably, but a resort tax.
Yeah, but I think we can do it again, and I think we just have to go about it right, just on three things. On lodging, food,
Bridges.
and ID. I think that's the only way to do it, to get it to pass.
You can do that.
I
And
think-
it was basically set up that way to where essential services were not, there was no tax on essential services like groceries or, but if you go to the
That's
restaurant.
right, yeah. And you know, I think BC's profited so much for it that people now would be more acceptable.
All
And you have
all
to have
towns have.
So close that you can use it as an example.
Yeah, and Twin Bridges, I think that was their platform, like you were saying, which is the lodging, dining, so it only, yeah, yes.
It didn't happen.
Not just that, because they are in a really unique situation with
I
Winston,
didn't think they were recognized as a resort. Now,
and that's because Winston Rod Company throws off the ratio, because they're considered manufacturing and not tourism. And so they're trying to get a few more businesses in Twin Bridges that are tourist based. But I think we're getting off, but, well, not really.
It's stuff to work for next year, so we're not sitting here in the same position.
So I think business licenses, we could look at licenses, I think those come up in January, that could help as well.
If we don't get moving through this, there will be here till next year.
That's why we're doing it for you. Well, why don't we get that on next week's agenda? What is this, resort tax?
Because we're all.
We can put it on, but it's,
You made the agenda.
no, I'm on, this is the can of worms open.
I
We
think
went through this.
Yeah.
You should better organize some before you put it.
Yeah, you can't just put it out there, and if we put the master plan, that is gonna identify things that are in our budget that people say, oh, well, how do we pay for that? So, and then we can say, well, here are some options to pay for that, and then they can decide.
One thing I
what they
think
want to go.
get you, Jason, is I actually have a lot of information on the resort tax. I can get that to you just so you can see what other people have done and whatnot. This is, it's not just a, we put it on the agenda and vote through. This is, there's a lot of work that goes into the actual thing. And then once you actually see the process and what has happened, I'll get that over to you. You'll see where, I agree, I think there should be a resort tax, but it's gonna be a very dicey situation.
I think we need to be prepared, because I think last time, correct me if I'm wrong, was that like 8 years ago, more than that? We
It was
didn't tell them.
2010.
Yeah, but I think that a lot of the people that were there were like the retail type people.
Well, it was during the recession, so that was one. So that was to me, that was a big one. And it wasn't really well thought out of what it was gonna go towards or whatever. So I think we need to have a really good plan, a lot of thought into it as to what, it can go towards and have that clearly identified and then have other communities. I know that they did it, but they had like, but it was too late. They had like West Yellowstone come in and say, hey, this is what we do. Craig, Montana, this is what we do, and to help people understand what they can then do with those resources.
Yeah, there was, Commissioner Vincent actually put out a very strong letter into the Madisonian that explained a lot of their shortfallings. When if we attack this again, like she said, we have to identify where the money's going, because they didn't do that. They just threw it out there and let it go and all hell.
Because it was like this, it's the elephant in the room every single time, because, I'm sure you've had the league of cities and town meetings, and I'm like, oh, how do we do this, how do we get money for, infrastructure projects, whatever, and they're like, why don't you have a resort tax? That's the number one question every single time. because our three closest communities have it.
So, but we are comfortable with doing, what we already talked about, the business licenses.
Yeah, and then
I mean, yeah,
We can do that. I just,
We put it on the agenda, we didn't do anything.
like, it was COVID, we got a couple words.
Oh, it was well, I mean, the dog licensing, that was way before COVID. I mean, that was, dog licenses, it was both, it was double, because we went through and we changed both sets of, we proposed the fees and everything, and because a lot of our business licensing, a lot of the business descriptions don't apply anymore. So we wanted a bunch of that removed, and then we wanted the fee schedule changed and everything. And dog licensing was with that just to increase the revenue side of it, not really change anything else, but just to increase the licensing fees.
Yeah.
And nothing happened. What's that?
You still have it?
Probably.
Some or like, what would we say to the game, like, how much, is that 40?
I don't remember, I do not remember what it was, but it was a decent increase from what we were doing. And we had, the way I wrote it was there's two different ways we could do it. Like for 1 year, we raised it 50% of what we wanted to, and then the next year we raise it more, or we could have just dumped it right in, just to make that blow a little bit nicer. And I got no dog in the fight, I don't care. But
dogs do you have? Like,
I mean, like,
Almost 100.
yours has got to be yours, it's not 6 months yet, is it?
No.
6 months, you got till the 6 months, so, yeah, you're good.
So probably 150.
So the unlicensed dog letters that I sent out only, and that went out to, I believe, 62 or 68 people. For unlicensed dogs, yeah. But a lot of them have never been licensed before, because we send out the ones that we know that licensed in years past. That goes out earlier. This one, what we did was we had Public Works who were reading the meters. Mark, who had dogs for the meters, and then Susie went through and compiled me a list, and then I sent the letters out.
Okay, so dog licenses, business licenses, and I think, if we might have to check like our permitting fees, are those written into the code, the zoning code?
I'll have to look these up.
Okay, so that could be somewhere else too, that we could put that probably has not been adjusted in,
Yeah, I don't think that's, since my time, I don't think that's ever been adjusted.
so I think there's a few areas that we can hit that, haven't been touched in.
So, and just to share what I do as a police department, because I can do it as state law, is anybody who comes in for fingerprints other than the school, because the school buys a lot of my supplies. Anybody who comes in for fingerprints for like liquor license or anything else like that, they get charged $10 a card. So that goes back into the general fund. And then what I also do is any report requests, they get charged $5 for the report requests also. So, and I can do that by state law without you guys even doing it, because it's written into, because I can charge for the paper stuff basically. So I've been doing that for 2 years now, just trying to get, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's something that I try to do to get coming in too, because they're using my time.
what about revenues, revenues from the police department in the general fund?
They are required to go back in the general fund, yes.
So you could technically, I mean, like, how much is a speeding ticket?
I'm not even discussing that, because you cannot base, there's federal law and there's state law on using the revenue from law enforcement to bump your budget up. I'm honestly not gonna have that discussion with you.
You don't want to have that kind of.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's a big no-no.
That's fine, and but I'm just respectfully, I'm just not gonna discuss that with you, because I really can't.
But our fees for, question,
Okay.
are the fine, is that set by the state?
That is set by the state. Montana Supreme Court bond schedule, so tickets that I write that are state citations, the Supreme Court sets that amount, the recommended bond amount, that's what I have to go with. I can't change that.
Okay, what about ordinance violations?
Ordinance violations, you guys set that.
So that's another potential, but going to, no, that's not zoning, that's some of it, but some of
Some
it.
of it might be the zoning. Yeah.
And Kelly, when do you recommend we do a water and sewer raise?
Well, once we have to have this, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we get through this budget process and then we can do it, right, we really anytime, anytime. Again, unfortunately, that's not gonna help in general, but it will get us up to where we're supposed to be with what they call target rates, statewide. And we're not horrible, but, in Madison County, we have the cheapest rates. And 12 years ago, we had the highest rates. So
Right.
things have changed.
I came from West Yellowstone, and from what we were getting charged down there up to here, I'm paying, here, I'm paying about an eighth of what I was paying in West Yellowstone for water and sewer, just to give you guys an idea.
And we're paying about half of what the city pays.
Can I ask a quick, any question about the money that's supposed to talk about?
Sure.
Is that just left out?
No, that money from the courts is, so it's courts, fines and forfeitures is where that budget line is, because I don't collect the money. That's the court, it goes through the court system because the judge actually levies the fine. And that is required by state law to go back into general fund from the court's fines.
So, for budgeting purposes, you just go on the last year's number for that line item?
A lot of times, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have to do kind of an estimate.
Thank you.
So last year we didn't have any revenue for pictures. And the city court says, this court meeting, the.
The forfeiture to be, that one, you know, 35,
16,500 came in.
but that's for city court, so we'll line above.
Yeah.
For the moment, sorry. This line got that.
That the city court, it is fines and forfeitures.
So it's all,
It's just-
so what we got?
35,000 is your main account number, and then you have breakdowns. And our monies come from city court. So that's why it's 16,500 is in the
Yeah,
account.
civil forfeiture,
Or is this,
So can we just go back through the general fund and just, there's some stuff that we just can't share anything on, right? Like compensated absence, employer contributions, that can't really, that's.
salary compensated?
well, compensated absence, we haven't had on, that was just like a recent thing that we added into the budget. Right, and I know the reason.
Yeah.
Those are their state of pay, so they.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
And the auditors have told us we need to get those numbers in there. In case you lose an employee, somebody retires, that we can anticipate sometime retirement. Retire early.
Well, why don't we just,
But it's anticipated that, I mean, everyone will do it.
It's a breakdown of like, and yeah, it's taken out of their wage percentages in each. So then I have to look at the total compensated absence amount and break it down into those percentages.
Yeah. So the compensated out of all of the different categories, is it every employee left in the budget year?
Yeah, so can we do that? Because not everybody's, I mean, maybe you all, right?
Yeah. I mean, but we could possibly cut that by maybe 25% or something like that.
And is that the actual, sorry, the actual number of compensated that is out there?
It's actual, it's actual. So,
So it's an actual number that is out there.
yeah, but I
Can you
guess.
ask the audit company if we go down to 75%? Okay.
I mean, well, we never budgeted for it until the past couple of years. So it's never.
It's something that we could, But yeah, 19, 20 was the first year that we put in.
Yeah, so it was never in the budget before then, but I can. So, what is it?
At that point, everybody leaves shit to the man anyway. Put it in. I'm working on myself right now.
But hypothetically, could we take all compensated absences and put it back into the cash reserves and the money's still there? Hypothetically.
Yeah, yes, we could.
Because then we can still, I just, if I'm wrong, tell me on it, if I'm wrong and someone, or do we have to have 100%? What, really, what's it, you guarantee, you take that money, put it in the
In the cash.
cash reserve, and we do an amendment. So Kelly retires, and it's time to pay him out, we could just do it. So why would we have that in there from the auditor's standpoint? Right, on the grand scheme of things, really.
Yeah, if there's another emergency happening, that
We don't send it all. That's why I'm saying don't put it all there because.
Yeah, maybe we could cut it by. We're just gonna add it all up.
What is the percentage you guys are really thinking, what is your thoughts?
But,
For compensated absence.
Well, that's money we already owe. If we do it.
Well, that's, well, but if they use it throughout the time.
Right, and then they can use it too, so that would be money we got to pay into their paycheck.
No, if they all left, we are, this is anticipating if all our employees left, this is all their comp time
Right.
that they are paid.
So Jason, since we're a government entity, state law requires you to pay us out 100% of all of our vacation time and 25% of all of our sick time if we would leave. So if tomorrow I came in and said I quit, you have to pay me out 100, you have to pay me 100% of all the sick time I have, 100% of all the comp time I have, and 25% of all the sick time I have on the books. Does that make sense?
But no, not everybody's gonna leave, we're also gonna need that budget.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Anyway, I'll give you an easy way to find out. I am, less one employee, all of July and August. So, you know, there's $4,000 or $5,000.
Any prospects?
What's that?
Any prospects?
Yeah.
Well, why don't we just go through like, and just shave a few dollars off the stuff, we can start from the beginning. Administration, I'll do this quickly. Membership and registration, we shave 250 off of that.
You know where I think we should go, I like where you're going, how about postage, why do we need 550 on that?
Postage?
Yeah, because that is at a 10% increase.
I mean, that would look okay, yeah, I'm just looking at the increases like, for, on the.
Or what?
Membership and registration, 1920 was 1,042.
That was our last year.
And we have 1,500, if we shave out 250, we still have $1,250. That's above last year.
The thing the reason I want to take it away from that was you weren't able to use it this year, but in a non-COVID year, it would be nice if all of you could go to some training, and is that what it's saying now?
No, that's membership and registration.
That is registration for conferences.
Right.
So you're training.
Right, so hopefully you go to those conferences, and there was none this year. It's probably why we're 69, 99, 69, anyway.
Yeah.
Worse.
What about?
Probably not.
Probably the office. Or no,
I
I
think
think
we
same
could
thing
do
with travel would be,
Yeah.
membership and registration.
What about supplies down in city court? Oh, no, you already knocked that down.
Well, this is what I'm saying. I'm proposing budget changes. Negative 250 on 355. Negative 500 on 370.
I gotta be able to keep up with it.
She already got 570, you already got.
Yeah, another one.
Are we in administration?
Yes.
So what number first?
355.
I do not see.
There's no 355. 355, okay. Under addition registration, we could, how much do we save? Let's say 100.
Well, let's do we'll do 212, I like that, we'll go with it. Minus 250 there, just for fun, but this is final, so.
These are gonna be done. The travel, then we do another couple hundred out of that. We're just looking at a year past, this year.
So the biggest year was 1617, was $1,600, and we got final budget, we only have $1,500, and so it doesn't cover our
Biggest year.
greatest year, so I wouldn't do that.
What about other purchase services?
We got,
We went down 30% on last year. So I'm saying under what our biggest year were.
The next one I was seeing was, the travel that we already did. And there's shades of.
Sure, I'm just looking to see.
Hey, Blake, can we get rid of the city prosecutor's $200 travel?
We could as long as, because he right now is traveling.
Exactly.
I'm just curious about.
we even get gas.
No,
No, that's just travel if he goes to a conference.
yes,
This year would have been like in October, right? And they're not having.
correct. It's all virtual. So that's what I'm saying is you could probably get rid of that 200.
Okay. So that's, you want to look at that one then?
You said you gotta talk me yea or nay, so I can write this
I'm
down.
just reading down payroll services, 410551, office supplies, we got 800. I guess that's the part of this year, we've got a 60% increase. Is there any reason why we go up that much on that? A few bucks.
Oh, well, back in 1617, we spent $795.
But we only did, under your term thing, 317 this last year, so I think we could cut a little bit there. Let's take that down to 6, that's a good one. So the
600?
in payroll services line, 2 can go to 600.
Okay. I'll talk to you.
I might need to, so.
So are we doing a percentage off of compensated absence?
I'm just gonna get it. Well, there's a good chunk of money in there, but it's gonna have to pay at one point.
It's a standing liability.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, we're just, we're moving money from one thing to another to make it look better. And it's not, it's just a fake number, really. We were just pulled out.
Yes, I mean, even if we did like 20%.
But it's still there, because regardless of it, it's really just, moving money to move money, to make it look better. It's not really doing anything. And the money's still there. If it's, one thing we can look at it as also is, and I don't want this to happen, but if we got into financial pinch, it's always money that we could go and get.
If it's just money sitting there, we, that's it. I realize that's money. We already had.
I think that's everything that be possible.
Okay.
That's where on the revenue side, you'll see, like, an investment line.
Yeah.
On different.
In land use,
Yeah, so why did the wage go up there?
You added another eight hours. Zoning,
We did.
yes. Okay, I didn't know that, put it on that. But why, other purchase services up to 1,500
oh, sure, let me get there.
in the same spot there?
Oh, I know that.
I think he planned on cleaning up, painting and cleaning up floor area.
But why would that be in court?
Once or land use.
That seems like that, we can get it out of there.
I can't, yeah, I can't answer for ours, I know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
Well,
So put that one to
$500.
Employer contributions that have the balance line. We're not like 200 before.
I'll double check it for Steve, but I think it went out with closing with, wages. So I'll double check it. Did you say you wanted to change? 390?
390 to 500.
No, it wouldn't be when he hires, for that, does that cost go along when he hires, Weaver, Vancouver?
No, that's,
Okay.
that's it. That's the professional services of it.
Okay.
And we dropped, that 1,000 this year with Jonathan Weaver as our floodplain administrator.
And so Kelly, you're saying that, for instance, since you haven't had an employee for July and August, that's $50,000 out of what? This is
Out of all of that, all of it.
all of them, so we want to look at that, so the $5,000.
Most of it's gonna be water and sewer, so you're not gonna gain a lot, but you might, gain.
A little bit, I can sure look at it.
Is that okay? What does everyone think about that?
Because of the employee,
Then we have to have public works employee for July and August. We're saving some money there, we're not paying.
but you plan on getting,
Yeah, just for the ones for July and August.
so we can put the back up to
Never.
2,500 and 2,500.
Well, no, I think you gotta look at the percentages of what it costs to have that employee.
And then do you, as long as you guys find it, if you're running with 2 public works guys, where we had said originally we wanted 3, and then budgeted for 3 public works guys, where we only have 2 right now, we're being very selective as to who we're hiring, when to hire, anyone we haven't had. So if we cut that number, we cut that employee. So
Well,
yeah,
I think we don't need any credit and-
I would say cut the number for July and August. Because those ones already passed, we haven't had employees. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but keep
I
it.
think that,
I understand.
okay.
So Ginger, take my 360, so 100, 360 and drop it down to 6,000 again. That's what I had last year. Hopefully nothing breaks major. Our vehicle maintenance, I said 361,
361.
drop it down to
Make
6
it
grand.
to,
6 grand, that's what I had last year.
Take 500 out.
So 500 off.
okay.
We're finding pennies, so we're $100,000.
Oh, well. You know what though, guys, and if you're making a start tonight and with, when you get into your discussions on building revenues and stuff, I mean, that's what's gonna help us.
Yeah. So the quicker we can do those items,
That's what's gonna help.
that's a lot.
I feel that.
So we're gonna stick in general, or can we go ahead and move on to the library, we got a long page.
Yes. What are the expenditures?
Yes. Yes. Page six.
So changes they made, since we talked last time, I had a couple of, so items of small equipment, I bumped it up 1,500, because I had a couple of POS printers, and people can go down. So, that extra 500 will pay for those. Into professional services and other purchase services, our cost share for electronic content went up. So we'd like to add 500 to, other purchase services, and then professional services, actually, sorry, that makes all. Electronic content goes under professional services, and other purchase services is, I need some more IT help for all computers that will be checking out for that grant money. So, and then the other, transfer out that I'd like to make is into the library CIP fund. And those changes, will reflect in the cash balance.
What is CIP again?
Capital improvement. There's money in there for the last 2 or 3 years to both buy new other computers and then transfer this money out to help either those computers or the landscaping project because
Oh, you have to add this one. The library is a 2-pager, guys, because they have Bowden Mills.
I was on, wait a second.
No,
Well, you have to add the 2 together.
It wasn't matching up with what we had on our sheet, so it's like 122 plus, 122 plus this 60,000 here equals this 139 library expenditure. The 122 plus the 60. Okay. Wait a second, it wasn't matching up. Our general fund is matching up with that. So that's that.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got these 2 sheets right here. It's 122. Where do you got here? Looking at you upside down. 80.
What?
Here's what I go this whole time. Okay, it's 122. I'll put it in one rule. It's over here. Okay. So the 122 plus the 16 equals her 139. And that's what I got on the same sheet, obviously. And because it's not out from the original.
I was just trying to reflect that data actual lot.
Yeah, I get you. So on your revenue sheet,
Yes.
Where, do you get money from mobile homes? What is it?
That's taxes, it's.
Oh, that probably
It's the mills.
on there too.
It's from the mill levies. Levy mills.
You know, charge people, what goes to you, figures.
No, and facts, that goes to the friends of the library. They purchase some material for us, so that money goes to pay for those materials. And, that money also goes toward, to get materials from out of state. And then we charge for, people using our services that are not Madison County residents.
The training services are on up, we have a couple of employees.
The training services went up because you guys just talked about. We hope that the conference that we usually go to is canceled this year. And, even if they do it virtually, they will charge us to attend. And then it's typically in May, yeah, and in the spring, so they didn't go this year. Yeah.
So then, in the past years, with the library, the revenues are like, oh, that's current budget. The current budget 1920 was revenue 108, but cost of, what do you, where does money come from when it's override?
So there are ones that I'm never sure I'm gonna get, and they're usually small checks, like, what's the one from the Rivers Capital
credits.
Thank you, capital credits. There are, I don't budget at all for the out of county users, because I don't know what they will be. If it's different from year to year. Sometimes we get donations that are not anticipated. And someone can specify those donations to go through the funds of the library, or it can go to the supplies. And other than that, some occasionally from the state, depending on the legislative year, we get money that.
Yeah, see, library has their own budget.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really get any.
yeah, I see that most of the years of revenues and the expenses are pretty much in. So it all comes down to it at the end of the year, kind of.
That's neutral. Most of our, all our increases this year salary. Yeah, we try to keep it budget neutral, but, and then it's largely due to the rest of the library. For all of our programming. All of these, I would say most of these purchases are for salary and, facilities and just operations. So, did you really for money, where is that? Can we put that somewhere else or leave like a little bit down, like?
Okay, so the 2,336 is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So that, I talked to Alex over there on that,
Yeah.
and that would be in case they like go on a training retreat or,
Well, I guess it did in 2000, what was that in 2018?
I have not a clue.
Oh, 16, 17, 20, oh, yeah, that's okay.
Professional services, that was for,
I think,
yeah, I think we got that.
I think we cut it all the way out, we never used it.
Well, yeah,
Am I looking at that wrong? Oh, wait, okay.
17, I think we'll probably cut it down.
Yeah, I think.
But we can always amend it if they're doing something, right? We can always amend it.
And put the 1,000 back into general.
Yes.
So we're taking it down to 1,000, or we're taking 1,000 out?
Take it down. 1336 general.
And then you recognize the other money or the expenditures there is the master plan.
Yes, and so then we'll get, and then on revenue for that, we'll get. Right, and if they're lined out there,
Yes.
the Madison County donation, the big 75 grant, and the lot.
And levy bills.
And let me know.
I got one comment on the library. Oh, the never been said that.
Whatever.
Oh, going backwards, yeah.
Yeah.
But we were-
Just because you're looking for revenue. It costs twice as much to heat that building as does this whole building.
But we are getting through on it.
Okay, that's the only reason I brought it up.
Yeah.
Not saying,
It's always been expensive, but we're finally getting people to know what they're doing.
good.
Things are changing, but it's slow.
I'm done.
Yeah, I thought you fixed that one. Was it not fixed?
I hope it's fixed.
We're just trying to blow fires in their necks.
Oh, we're talking about that. So we're-
Okay. Come on, Blake.
Twenty-three fifty, page 8. Page 9 and 10, just give a brief explanation of that.
PRS is a set percentage amount. I might be able to, but it's not gonna make very much of a difference at all when I change those wages out. But I can take a look at it, right, to get to it. The changes we're making is gonna take me some time to get this done.
But that's pretty much an untouchable, but.
Yes.
Health insurance.
Okay, yeah, but I want you to look at what we can get on a long sheet again, on the library.
Yeah.
That second sheet, we get from Mrs. Mills. And so right off the bat, you're not $115,000 off that. Yeah, because you gotta just tie them to, again, you tie them together.
Well, the lawn care, that's a lawn care, streaming right there. The insurance companies all is everything. We're in big trouble, that's. And just so you guys know, we did put this out for bid. Keep close, slow turning, not even close, so.
And it's really good insurance.
We look at that one every year and it's like.
Next page, drug forfeiture, so I'm having right now.
Page 3, maintenance assessment, I like this really quickly.
Nothing to be said, that's money that comes in off the maintenance district. And, it'll be spent, it can't be spent for anything else other than street and roads.
Okay, so the budget is 96,000. Oh, almost, but.
50% up. Oh, I see where you're going.
Well, last 1920 was 50,000, this year 96,000.
Right.
What do you?
Do?
No, but we came out year end with 78,000.
Is that mainly because of the paving that street?
We have that in cash. So that much did not get spent. So I took it and a good portion of what will come in this year, like half will come in this year and put it into appropriations. In case all the highway project come up.
So we had 45,000 coming in this year, that's just a.
I actually think I might that.
That's on page 8 of the revenue.
Thank you.
You got.
75, 35. 75 for a homeowner, 35 for loan.
Yeah, that, it's sent out on taxes.
Right.
Okay.
So it really is kind of a set number.
So that's money coming.
Yes.
And it can be used for anything but road repair, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So then, but still, why is the budget this year gonna be 6,000? Why do we think it's gonna cost that much?
Because that's the total amount that's in that fund. And, my plan is to spend all of it. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is a particular budget. I can spend all of, where, well, actually, on all of the ones I can, so. But it's a total amount in the, this is.
No, this is,
No.
this is separate.
So
And it's got to be kept separate.
Yeah.
We good, Danielle? Operating, library trust. We got ten times along the set forward now.
Right, and from what I understand, the library trust fund was, maybe left over from when they expanded the library, or is that right?
It was in CDs, sure, and I'm still not positive, but I did pull out a CDs and put it into the SIP program, because they had a much better interest rate. But I budget each year for it in case the library has an emergency. They can get their hands on that money if they need it. Karen has long-term plans for it, so we budget it, but let it grow each year.
Right, so, yeah, so the way I treat it is that if this goes out, that money is there for it, which it runs to every year, sorry. And then also, so this year.
Well, that's fairly, wasn't it?
I'm happy to discuss that with you at length if you want.
If you have a thermal system, it's not a huge tax.
Yeah. And then I can, you can argue what you, for the square footage of the building, I have people look at it and say, yep, right on that. And then another person will come and say, ooh, you need this. You can argue it either way, as far as I know. But that money is either, you know, for our current loads, we need to do it, that money is there. Or if the opportunity presents itself to either, like I said, landscape from the library or add on in combination with other projects, that money is there.
And did you do this, the $400 that we're getting, is your investment, the return on the investment?
And yeah, with the interest.
And then you turn it over so they get a little bit better, return on that. That what you said. You put it into the fund.
Yeah, these and.
Hey, police pension and training.
That's some, go ahead, Ginger.
It is a set date every year. I send in a report and the money comes in for it and comes in.
Yep, and we can't use it for anything except for training, and that's by the state statute.
John, it used to be that they, go into pension too, so that's changed. Go into,
It can go into retirement, but we don't have MPERS or we don't have any other additional retirement, so it just goes into training, so the training doesn't come out of the general budget.
So is this any different than the travel and training on the general fund?
So the other one is there's a, I think it's $200 or whatever I put in that one. What that is, if I have to take somebody up to, say, I have to drive somebody over to the jail and the judge orders me to go pick up somebody for his court, because we are responsible for that. That's for my meals, if I have to buy something for us on the way back or something like that. That's what that other one's for.
And that's strictly travel, there's no training or
Yeah.
anything in there.
Yeah, that's in case, and very seldom do I use it, because most of our prisoners are either in Dillon or in Bozeman, but with COVID, they've been moving around a lot, so if I have to travel, I do need to eat something.
No, we
Well, let's eat.
I appreciate that. You don't want to see me angry.
Okay, gas tax on page 15.
Yeah, it was the same way as the street maintenance, it's for street only.
and this is the old gas tax where it came right out of the pump and, anyway, they changed it on the next page, you'll see a couple of years ago, in 18, they changed the gas tax. where you have to have a special project on it. This money here, you see, if you notice, I haven't spent anything for the last couple of years, because this money could actually be spent for a special project where the next page, 28, 21, so 473, that has to be spent on a street project, but it can go on for 2 years, so we try to spend it every year just to save much paper. So it's the first,
So you build up to the first one.
the first one is almost bank.
And you're planning on spending that too this year?
It's spent.
It is.
Which one now?
Is it something
That's
that
the hard side, and we've already got the money for it.
That's what I'm doing.
Hospital 473.
Yeah, that's,
That's what we did that resolution for. And I did the reporting, sent it into the state, and we already got the money back.
But the original gas tax, I guess, on 15, that one's not that.
So I was gonna say that.
And then you have a schedule of stuff that you have your checklist.
yeah,
That you can share.
we have a 5-year plan, and actually we're ahead on that plan.
Okay.
We have a couple of projects like the Tomley intersection and over on Beaverhead, those intersections.
Okay.
Hopefully we get those done this month, but still working on the Trojan permit and MDTs, not always our friend.
You might see like probably in the winter time.
Right.
That's where that whole road, we fix that. We'll see what happens. Anyone else have any other questions about that one?
that's good.
University grant, you can see up.
Look at page 18, state, right?
They have a grant, is a grant that Kelly got for GIS, I believe. And I think they just have to finish up on it, am I correct, Kelly?
Yeah, that 1,200 will just take care of the engineer time, help us take some points and, yeah, it's moving over this year.
Yeah, this is to carry over. And if you want to move that cash, you can.
So we are going to go on that.
So should we pay, move that into general or do?
Wasn't there some money that you need to find for the 7,000? For the WPI, the one when you come in?
No, we have the budget.
Okay. It's to be transferred. Okay, it's a transfer out.
It's page, if I'm not mistaken,
We
page
don't have
4.
a project, you can move that over.
Yeah. It's not like a transfer out, it's just leave the 7,000 as it is, so it can be back. But I can take this 28, 2987, and I'll just do it like I did with that 7,000, they said it's gonna go to general and set it out.
So when you disclose the 2936, it's going away.
Yes.
Let's go to the general, so on with that.
Or we have heard of this year, when they planted those trees.
That was last year, we did well.
This seems,
Oh, really? Oh, the tree, they got
I got it in the last fiscal year.
what are we going to do with this, or why are they going to introduce so much? Is that
For what?
for the time of the tree fund?
to do some projects.
In there, 5,227. Yeah, Corey said they've got some projects coming,
And they do a matching grant too, so when we go apply for this, like, we have the NRC grant, so if you have matching funds available, you can end up getting,
I saw we have 750 coming in.
yeah, so that's from the, but then there is the urban forestry grant, and then there's also the Tree City of the Year, which is up to $10,000. So we can leverage, if they identify a project, they can leverage this money to get more money.
So that way, potential for getting more.
This is where we're going to, here's where so, I just usually we have the lines over here so I can tell the T's on the other.
sorry.
We had originally budgeted to put another $1,000 into that, like, slide staff, because we have the 57 or 27 in there, so that's why I actually like it's like my song. But I just had to, we had that money in.
Well, I never budgeted it, like, it's not there. It's-
Well, that's why I don't do it. But we watch that one to make sure they have, we look right around $3,000 usually.
And the grants are coming up to get like, or, yeah, when we get the others that money, you get more money for a project.
A special assessment debt.
That is, Madison Avenue paving project. So people that live on Madison Avenue historically, you guys, they wanted their street paved, so we did a street improvement district. It's rolled into their taxes, so this is what comes in from them paying taxes each year, and then it comes around and goes out for paying the SID loan. So it's a fix.
Capital
I can take CIP.
What?
If it's a donor, I can take CIP.
Does that include fire grader, or just include?
No, I haven't gotten it in there yet. Or maybe. I wait my notes here. 2500 library.
So this is the 5,000 the car,
Yes.
and then.
Yeah. The 25,000 that you see on top where it says buildings, would be for a generator. That if our power goes out and we go down, we'll be able to operate this building. And John can tell you.
So by state statute, we are required to continue continuity of operations, all government operations, no matter what happens. The big issue we have here is after most of the UPS is here, we'll run the stuff for 45 minutes to an hour. And then we have no internet, we have no nothing here. So we do need to be able to keep this building running, to keep continuity of government going in the event of a disaster. Now, there are a lot of, this is actually significantly cheap for what I want to do, because this would be getting a DOD, Department of Defense generator. It's basically down, there's some in California, there's some other places. We just have to get it here and get it hooked up. So this is about a quarter of the cost if we would buy something brand new. We did it down at the fire department with every one of our fire stations. We did the DOD generators. So Shane Grube was the chief down there now. He's going to help me find a good one to make sure that we can make it work.
Why does this become an issue now when it wasn't before? Just after.
It's always been an issue, but with COVID here, it's become more of a forefront of the issue that you need to maintain governmental operations as part of your emergency operation plan.
So we can still maintain operations just without.
No power? How are we going to maintain operations? We lose our phones. We lose our phones. We lose our internet. That's the two ways everybody does everything nowadays. Because if cell phones go down, If we lose power, those cell phone towers, they'll last 12 to 14 hours, and then that's it. Now, I can call FirstNet and have them bring a tower down, but that will only cover my cell phone and department cell phone. That's it. But that will not continue our operations here. And you as a governing body are required under state statute to maintain governmental operations in the event of an emergency.
This is another one I identified, and I will.
I think we should not, and if we do, maybe we can, I mean, you could get a wage for generator.
That's not the generator that's costing you the money. What's costing the money is to hook it into this building. Because we have 4 electrical panels in this building, and the way it's wired is crosswire because to get power just to basically the operating areas down here, you've got to tap into 3 of those boxes. So it's not a simple project.
And that's actually, is there a definition of operations?
You have to maintain continuity of government is what it says. So you can't maintain water, you can't maintain sewer, you can't maintain the sewer you'd be okay with.
Actually, water, I could take the generator from there, but no,
Right.
there would be no internet, no.
Yeah, so we would lose all of that communications and everything.
Communication back to the manual.
So, and then we would lose, you lose all continuity, lose our phones here, which is the big thing. Because Three Rivers does have, on fiber, they are all backed up. The problem is since we run a phone system, our UPS here lasts about 45 minutes on the phone system, and then the phone system's dead. So all of the data that we have is computer-based.
Yeah, just,
Well, another thing I identified in this, and other capital improvement planning. My identification.
It's your decision. If you guys don't want it and something happens, it's on you guys. All I did was we got the stuff that came out, regarding COVID and continuity operations in the county and everything else that, you have to make sure you maintain continuity. Look at the county's emergency operations plan. And based on that, that's where this came from. So if you guys don't want it, I'm good with it. There may be, I tried using 2 grants for it from COVID, but they wouldn't let me touch it because they didn't say the generators were a necessity for it. I tried to get the JAG grant, which is the Justice Assistance Grant. And then I tried to get, there's a Montana Border Crime Control grant. I tried to do that, and they both were denied because they weren't essential to COVID. Nothing in the county, nothing in the county. I have absolutely no idea. The problem with battery banks is a generator, you put it on a pad, it's generally the ones that we got from DOD already have the shock absorbers and everything built into them. So it's earthquake proof basically. The problem with the solar and everything is they're not considered safe for earthquakes because if the batteries crack, and we are in an earthquake area, and the lines tend to break if the building shifts.
Well, I would work on identifying some kind of digital board.
And we should be prepared, but you never know what's on it. Never. It's better to be prepared and have money than not be. Moving on.
We're trying to think about this, we're going to have to review it or vote on the budget on Thursday, so if this is something to go on, Kendra needs to know now whether we want to keep it.
Well, what if we could just take it out of there, we always do the budget and put it back in there.
You got it in there. I didn't know.
I think we can identify, I mean, if it is such a necessity that they should be able to find some kind of government assistance for it. So there's going to be other grant programs available to, whether it be.
And most of those, Lisa, I'm betting would be for new stuff. This is stuff that I'm getting from the DOD, which is used. But it works just fine for what we want. It's military surplus is what it is. So generally, you can't use grants for military surplus stuff.
I
You
think
just-
we could talk to EV Waters and see if there's some kind of planning or something like that along the line. So,
Well, in this capital improvement fund of the building, so it's not necessarily for that, it's just in there.
well, if it's budgeted, then you can go ahead and try it.
If I'm spending 25 grand, I can need to show you guys are gonna approve it. Spending 25 grand.
I'm gonna be off. Take it out, you can. Get your drinking salad. Anyone disagree with that?
Yeah, I think I like finding different sources, to pay for it. Something I can admit, something I have to do, something, there's gotta be something. That I believe that everyone did is better than the.
So we can leave it in there and then start looking for other funding to help.
I do on a regular basis.
Let's just leave it there and then we will see if we can find funding.
Are there other towns around that have generators?
Pretty much everybody does, or they have, like Virginia City has a contract with, they do the sheriff's department, so they use the EOC over there, which we can't use. Since we're an incorporated city, we've got to have an EOC, and that would be this building, which is Emergency Operations Center, which we don't have. Alder has their fire hall over there. Twin Bridges, I think it's their town hall. It's, if you guys want to look up the stuff, none of this is top secret. You can go on the county's webpage and just on the search bar, type emergency operations plan. All this stuff is spelled out from the county as to what's required with the referencing state laws and everything.
Is that why we need generators because of the emergency plan?
Well, it's not just the emergency plan. State law says we have to maintain continuity of government. So how are we going to do that if we have no power and we have no ability to do that?
But there is a generator,
Correct. But how are we going to, that's not within city limits. So that's not considered your EOC.
But that would be for, I mean.
It's not our place.
Have you established a definition of operations?
Meaning definition of,
All the things that are.
pull up the emergency plan, it's all in there. Everything is in the emergency plan
But I mean, yeah.
of what you're required to do, what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, how the government falls. So if we lose the majority of our council, what happens there? It's all spelled out in the county's EOC.
Okay. Okay, well, we can look into that.
So when does it get done another round?
We kind of didn't need to know if we could vote on the offers. But when we're doing our change that we're doing now, so you either have to sign it to get them adjusted.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
I was just explaining why, what we're doing, we'll take it right here tonight to make sure, we've got things what we want. So when we come in Thursday, I know, we've got it.
Yeah.
I think it just makes sense that expenditures are exceeding revenues and by a lot, that we need to figure out something that, and this is a huge chunk of that.
Because this is also one of those things, just like our project, we can take, put back into general fund, and then as we find that the source for it, we can put back. So essentially, we'll hold it out there, but you can take it and do research with it. But so wherever we take it, put it back into it a little bit, and we point out, that's what they're considering. Where did it come from?
The cash balance in capital review.
So, we can't move it back into, or over to that.
No, but you take a look at our capital improvement fund in our plan. This has never been brought up before, and all of a sudden,
personal priority.
But at the June meeting, you guys talked CIP.
Yeah.
And you were all supposed to come up with ideas and now turned in. And got nothing.
I mean, I like having it in there just to have for something that you might want to do, but I think we get explore further before we say, it's something that for the generator.
And it's just your market up there, he'll do, before he does anything, but, yeah, it's not gonna help our.
Yeah, I mean, I just looking at it from perspective, I'm not trying to just chop your product.
It's no skin off my back, it's the skin off your backs if something goes wrong. So in all honesty, it's not on me. I'm just trying to help you guys out.
Okay, let's go on to page 24. Line utility. Kelly, you go ahead, your career.
I think we talked about it before, all of these numbers are inflated, probably at least 3 times. And the reason why is that I don't have to, if there's an emergency, I can go ahead and send it, we don't have to have a budget amendment. The auditors are the ones recommending you put in the inflated budget. So you look at water and sewer both, and I don't know what all you can see is that they're inflated numbers. But more than that money to cover any of the yearly expenses in those line items. And then the last page, the map towns, that's been a little bit agreements we have with 4 incorporated towns in Madison County where we buy and share large pieces of equipment, like our sewer jetter, things of that nature. And it's not that we can only take recommendations back to the board. There's a board that it's just the board of public works directors and mayors sometimes show up and really never change it. So you either we have $28,000, we buy a new piece of equipment at $28,000, we'll buy anything. So we probably won't buy anything for a few years. We just bought a sewer camera 2 years ago, which should show on there a pretty big expense, $50,000. In 18-19, we spent $50,000 on the sewer camera.
Need to your revenue as well, to see your actual expense too. Anyone have any questions on the water and sewer?
Where we set up the revenue for water.
It's,
The
okay.
cash balance, like, the cash balance is in this area.
The water, the revenues are way below the expenses.
Are you looking at that backwards or running at that backwards? Our current year, we had 265,000 revenue. Oh, yeah.
We're, that doesn't give the.
Inflation, oh, yeah, we had 270.
No, the revenue should be on track.
We're actually,
Where you at? No, I was comparing the revenues on water utility.
265.
Yeah.
So the 217, what we actually spent on the expenditure, so we're on track there.
Yeah, then if you look at the final budget for the revenues, it's 2,258,000, but the expenses are 662,000.
But because it's inflated,
Oh, you played it 3 times, so that's why that number's about 3 times more. Yeah. Okay.
And we have the same thing in sewer, we got,
No, it's not that.
yeah. For our expenditures, 231. And our revenue is 356, so we're good in this building, reserve there.
Ambulance?
Which one?
Bottom line under, expenditures, it doesn't match my sheet. I got to change my sheets, the raw sheet.
Oh,
Expenditures of 117,959.
Oh, I see that again, I've got appropriation and total non-tax revenues. So I gotta go and change that appropriation.
So the revenue is wrong, the 158.
No, the revenue is correct. I'm looking through in column 1, where it says appropriation.
Okay.
So that's expenditures, what they're planning on spending.
Oh.
It's 107,959. So if that's-
well, their, reserve might go up. Not much of a deal.
That's where we put the interest, I put the interest they receive.
Goes, the ambulance does kind of, like the interest going into the factor and they get, looks like a more revenue than expenditures.
This year they, well, the on-call part of this 107. Is the on-call cost part of this 107?
Yeah, we're gonna create one for that one. The hospital actually bringing we said are already set up.
I can see,
I think that's the one,
but
That would actually be a good deal, but the
actually, they're
hospital,
supposed to bring me up those numbers in.
they haven't signed that.
I'll push it tomorrow.
but I haven't made that check where you can talk with me today.
I need,
She needs the hours.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How much that's gonna be, the cost of the on-call. As an expenditure.
So we're gonna push them forward.
And then that's $400 per hour
Whatever the number of shift, they're,
for.
how many hours in the shift, they're taking.
I don't know. We're still working on that, but $57. So once we get it, we can actually sit down and start planning.
Why is your depreciation ever closed? That means operating. That.
That's an option question. Because I'm not sure, Aaron.
We should have depreciation because, on the ambulance at the very least.
Yeah, I'll have to,
Unless we get on our accident, we got to look at a new one, we just have a new line of,
I will ask them about that.
There's a very least ambulance. And I just thought I was thinking of that big ticket item.
Yeah.
I mean, this is such a huge depreciation.
So. That sounds.
That's the one that Kelly already talked about, that's really why equipment, share with it.
Sure, I'm registered to the city, and that's.
Right now, it's time for us, if there's any questions, meeting on this, because Ginger has to, like, it's fine, so on Thursday, we can hope to push this through. So if
Is
there's
there
any
anything
questions, yes, we're gonna be like, Ginger. We're gonna be like, but yeah. Any questions, anything you want to make, we can talk about it. We're running up against the deadline. Thinking we need to, we're right at the end of the over.
No, we're out of the end.
I can kind of recommend it gonna be okay that our appropriations exceed revenue by 170,000, is that bad deal or? I mean, we do, I'm not gonna fix it if we need to.
It's something that we back throughout the year, but a lot of this, every year we have the same issue, and then every year we come in and plenty money, I mean, a bullseye on this, I don't let it go in the hole that way. Something big comes up, there will be something to do for it. I think the only time we've ever had to do anything was borrow money from water, sewer, and
When that, the law started.
all
I
the.
think we're last year paying that back.
And that's the only year that we've ever had an issue where we had to go and find them. Most of the time we have here, so we just have to keep watching it and watch our expenditures, what she gives us each month. But we might be doing here with this one also, and I think we've asked for this one, so in the summer, do we have the, sorry to take a step back, the website set up for the Black Book software?
Yeah,
We just put that on there for a reason, so we can see that. Having something to do with it.
So then we could do like, so I have to be October, November, we have quarterly report and then the thing.
On the website, you'll actually get live data. So every night, our stuff will update to the cloud, so that next morning, it will be updated as of that previous business day.
And then we could, we're able to track it that way. Anyone with us go on there. That's one of the things that we've been pushing to do. And his budget is a little way to get his budget. So on top of this, and then we also.
Actually, it's already done. We're working on the setup right now, so.
And then all the IT stuff that was set up with the speaker system were in here.
That's all. Once the budget gets approved, I already have it sitting there. I just have to go add, and check out. So you guys approve the budget on Thursday night, and I will get the speakers and all the extra microphones for the desks and everything on its way. Anybody, is there a consensus? I mean, if there's a consensus, I'm good with that. I mean.
Okay, now you do your. You got me. Hey, Chris. Hold on. Adjourn. Thank you.